And welcome back to the Finish Line podcast. After a well-earned summer of, I was going to say summer sun on our back, sun or rain on our back, we're back for another jump season. And it wouldn't be like the Finish Line podcast if we were late and we're waiting on fucking Tom Rain as always. He's having mic issues apparently, but I reckon he's having red wine and a kebab once again. Obviously, Dave's not here. Dave got a new dog, so he is puppy sitting. We know Dave. He's puppy sitting. Oh, wait. Pablo's here. Hello, Thomas.
Hello. I don't know if you can hear me, but I can see you now, Andrew. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Some technical issues. New year, new me. Not quite so. Definitely late.
That's going to say that's a fucking lie. Stop lying to the people already. But as always, we are back. Look, this is, what was it, 5 years since we had a proper break, Tom? 5, 6, going on 5 years, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. I think it was 5 years since we had a proper extended break, and I think we needed it. I think the viewers felt it had enough of us. And probably. Yeah, look, I think we needed it. I think it's been good. I'm excited to get back, and I'm so glad we didn't have to talk about that shitty flat season. God, it's terrible.
Been god awful. Look, I know it has its fan base, and people say it's better than the flat or better than the Jones, blah blah blah. I just can't take to it. You could run a race 10 times and you get 10 different results. It could be grade ones, it could be 0 to 60s. I never took to it. There's no horse that would grab you this season either, really. Bar City, you try, obviously. But look, we're not here to talk about that.
Good. The debate on him would have been good because I was definitely against him at the start. And he's been very good. My only thing from the flat season is I have a newfound love of maidens at Musselburgh. I think they're the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
I could only imagine why that would be, Thomas. Would you like to enlighten the people that have not heard the news?
Our superstar 2-year-old by Nube out of the listed winning Group 3 place mare, Antonin Dvorak, not named by me, obviously named by Nathaniel, went and absolutely dotted up at Musselburgh the other day on Saturday, so that was fantastic. Of course, me and Nat went on our journey up and over to Musselburgh to watch his debut. Big things were expected, and he ran a lovely race to finish second. And were we there at the weekend? No. And also, why we were there...
Wait. Where were you, Thomas?
I was in Spain.
Doing what, Thomas? Do you want to elaborate on that side of things?
Work company trip. That's all I'm saying. Work company trip. You got to be there.
I'm going to use the same inverted quotes I use with Tom's or Dave's puppy sitting.
It was good crack. But ironically, me and Nat watched Chutzpal win his first race, first over hurdles, while we were sat in an Indian restaurant in Edinburgh after watching Antonin Dvorak come second. So we chose the wrong race course that day, much to our owner's amusement. But it's been good crack. It's been good summer. I love Chutzpal as well, by the way. I'm getting all the Pimlico stuff out of the way. I love Chutzpal. He's one of my...
He's a little legend. He is a little legend.
What a hero.
Devil's advocate. I've literally just taken my hat off, so fuck off. Like, I'm tired. I've been up since 5. I'm not any over this shit now. No, wait. Look, that's worse. Oh fuck.
No mention of my hairdresser anyway.
I have a receding hairline, so I'm trying to hide it. Anyway, a few things before we get on to our flop or not show. So we are no longer doing talking points on Sunday. We want to have free Sundays going forward. More or less, the two lads are just horny about NFL, so they want to watch the NFL the whole time. So we are scrapping talking points on Sunday. That is moving to Wednesday for the start of weekend preview. So we'll be doing that, and we'll be doing the main races. So we'll be shortening the race, or cutting back on the number of races we preview, but giving more in-depth previews to the bigger races, if that makes sense. And then our Cheltenham Festival anti-post videos will be every second week from mid to late October going forward. And then obviously the big Christmas festivals, Leopardstown, DRF, Cheltenham Festival, Punchdown, they'll all have their obviously dedicated show, and we'll have a dedicated preview review show for them. We're going to have giveaways. I have been in contact with Horses and Pins. They're making our own The Finish Line podcast pins, so we're giving them away, and a few. This is the mock-ups. This is the mock-ups. These I made them into stickers as well, so that's the mock-ups. They're not going to be that fucking big now before you get started. They're the stickers that will be going. And imagine going around with that, walking around Cheltenham like fucking first day of school. That as well as the Finish Line mugs, and I'm putting Pimlico silks on all of them, so we will have them as well. Any other news before personal news? Anything before we go forward? Sean, how's your missus still putting up with you? First question.
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm just off my summer break. I'm back into college in my last year, so I came back with a bang, and so it's into the last year. So touch wood, this time next year I'm out the gap and all papered up, or whatever they say.
Pimlico's new HR.
Yeah.
I don't want. We probably want, but we probably need. But I definitely don't want any HR. I'll tell you that much.
Any other from you, Tom? Before we go on.
No, I mean, look, I could start and sit here for the next 20 minutes and go on a rant on, but no, all is good. Yeah, no, just had it's been a fun summer with the horses, and Chutzpal and Anton and Dvorak the highlights, and we got some nice ones back in pre-training for the winter. So Pastoral's back in, lovely horse called Zurich, he's back in. Really, really looking forward to him. Knives Titan was good. How did I forget him? Started up at Tremor and then was second at the Galway Festival. He's gonna be out again soon, hopefully. And then we had a Mina for John McConnell, who went and finished third on her debut at the Galway Festival, which was fantastic. She's a big raw baby of a horse. So it's been a very, very good summer.
Right, so formalities are out of the way. We're here to do our flop or not. We done the first one last year and it seemed to go down well. And we have 35 horses to go through. If you want to comment more in that, we might have time to get on at the end. Comment in the comment section. I said comment a lot there in the comment section below, and we will try to get through them. And let us know what you think. Yes.
I do want to say one thing just before we start the flop or not thing, because I don't know if you brought, I'm sure you didn't bring up in the 2 minutes that I wasn't on here, but there was a controversial flop or not last year. I was on one side of the fence and I think everybody else was on the other. But we sadly lost him over the summer, and that's Facile Vega. He provided much of
He brought it up.
He provided. I've been very serious once now, because I know I was on the other side of the fence to the lads, and we had a bit of crack with their owners and stuff, and it was all very friendly banter. But look, very sad to see that he's no longer with us, and thoughts with connection to him. But he provided many a highlight of the show.
How are you, Sean, about you?
Still emotional, still raw.
Time heals all, Sean.
Exactly.
Right, before we actually look, we may as well talk about the big news that broke yesterday. We'll talk about it quickly. The scrappage of the Turners, which has now gone back into a handicap, along with the cross country that has now gone into a handicap as well. My quick thoughts on it. I'm surprised they got rid of the Turners. I thought they would have got rid of the Ryanair, if anything, for a middle distance race. Hear me out. I don't mind having a novice at middle distance novice race, and then you can make up your mind when you get to the big leagues. Then you're either a champion chaser or you're a Gold Cup horse. I don't mind that. And the only reason they're keeping the Ryanair is because Michael Leary's sponsoring it, and he would pull a shitload of money out of the place. That's one of the main reasons why they've done that. I'm all for the handicap coming back, but I really would have liked to see him keep that and keep Turners and got rid of the Bulls or something like that. I think it's a good move in one way and a bad move in another. But that's a great move of putting the cross country back to a handicap. I think that's the right move. Tom, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the cross country going back to handicaps it was an obvious one, really. That looks very good. You can't have Gold Cup horses be nearly single figures for a Gold Cup and then deciding, we're going to go for the cross country or not, after having a Grade 1 campaign for the whole season. So, I think the cross country going back to that, it also gives people a chance. Like we were even just chatting, we might go and have a look for a cross country horse now, over in France or something. Because you've actually got a chance of winning it. Whereas the last few years, you've literally been running against Gold Cup winners. So, or Gold Cup runners anyway. I know Indo didn't run it last year because it was off, but I'm not against the Turners going. I think it's been a dire enough race the last few years. Small fields and a lot of dodging going on. And now I feel for the trainers. I said the trainers are not happy. Me and Sean were having a chat about 1 and 2, and I'd say Willie's not happy at all because, it's you don't really want to go and slog those novices over 3 miles. You want to use it as a prep for those stayers. We even saw back to 5 we got onto him, but he had to go up and trip last year. And they were like, literally, don't go out and annihilate horses. Just jump the last and go and win nicely. No, I don't mind seeing that go back to a handicap. I think it'll be more competitive. I'm surprised they didn't have a look at the National Hunt Chase. I think the only reason that is still there is because of the history it has with the festival and the amateurs riding in it. But I'm surprised they didn't. For me, you could.
I thought maybe there was 1 more or 2 more changes.
I don't think so. But
hopefully,
for me, I'd have nearly got rid of.
That race. That race doesn't make sense to me.
No, I don't. I know
you want to have. It does really makes no sense to me to have that race. Like you can run that at Ayr. Run anywhere else, bar Cheltenham. You have to triumph. Like they're 4-year-olds.
Yeah. But look, I'd have maybe even got rid of that and kept the Turners, but I don't know. It's tricky.
Sean?
Yeah, no, I am on the side. I think it is a step in the right direction. I'd say there is a couple of more. There definitely is a few more races that could go, but look, I don't know if maybe a bigger thing around maybe. Look, I look at the DRF, right, and there's a 2 mile novice chase and there's a 2 mile 5. Same in the hurdles. And I'm looking and saying, maybe does that RSA need to be looked at and maybe make that drop back down to 2.5 or 2.6 like the DRF, and then it's not as much of a slog, and you still have the stayers going that way and the 2 milers going the other way. Because like I feel like as Tom said, like the last couple of years it's been woeful. Like it's been 5-6 runners and all sorts of shots. It's not, and people are moaning about competitiveness, and it is a step in the right way to get horses to take on each other. But then I do see the case of the RSA being a slog on some horses. But maybe that might change now because like you've that race gone and you could see them trends starting to change a little bit. I do think it is a step in the right direction, but I feel like there could be a couple of more tweaks, and there's definitely other races. Like as Tom said, the National Hunt Chase, I understand the amateurs have their races, but like you've Kim Muir's, you've certain ones like that overlap, like a Kim Muir and an Ultimate. Like I'd be all for one for getting rid of the Buildles as well, and then at least they made the handicap with the cross country chase, as he said, Gold Cup horses tapping back into that. Like they haven't, like none of the other horses had a hope. So that sees small owners possibly having a chance of getting back in there on the weights. But I think it is a step in the right direction, but there's definitely bigger calls that have to be made, and it'd be interesting to see if they are going to make them.
Yeah, I get the whole argument about it being small field over the last few years, which it has. It's been terrible fields. I think it's a great stepping stone for potential Gold Cup horses that don't have to go through it. As I said, look, I would have been all for getting rid of the Ryanair, and because they have the race at
Aintree.
So I don't see why. To me, it's obvious because Michael O'Leary sponsors them, and he sponsors the Mayor's Novice as well. So that he'd probably pull all that sponsorship from Cheltenham. So I'd say that's why. But yeah, look, there's good and bad towards it, and look, we'll soon find out in March. But there's going to be a lot of plot horses now aimed for that who could be potential Gold Cup absolute hards hanging around the place.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. I was laughing straight away when the news broke, and I didn't know what sort of handicap it was like. So was Willie just going to run one of the Grade 1 animals just off a top weight in a 2.5 mile chase? But then Tom was saying that was restricted. So you definitely are going to get plot jobs throughout the season now.
Oh, look, a horse that pops straight into my mind straight away is In the Pocket. A maiden still over fences. You can drop him around wherever.
What? The 0 to 140 novice chase?
Yeah.
Taking the piss.
You fucking don't know that Plutarch, the Gold Cup horse.
Yeah, I think that was more by accident now. No way. I'll tell you, no way are they looking at him.
All right, boy. Yeah, fucking moody. Yeah. One thing hasn't changed. He's still fucking a moody cunt, isn't he?
So Tom, when he comes out,
novice handicap chase.
Now we cannot talk ill about Henry de Bromhead.
I tell you, after this summer, definitely not. No.
Just that wizard trainer.
Yeah.
Right, we'll get on to this now. We have 35 horses. I didn't do them all individually, so I'll put up the first ones we're going to go through. This is the first part we're going to go through. Jade Grugy Cargies, Gidley Park, Captain Guinness, and Banbridge. Tom, we'll start first with you. Jade de Grugy, flop or not?
Flop, yeah, I didn't like her last year in the end. Probably go chasing, but yeah, no, bit to find. I'm going to be a bit brutal here as well, by the way, guys, and keep it short.
That's what we want. Honesty is the best policy. Sean?
Yeah, no, I'm the same boat as Tom. Flop, I thought she was one of the next big ones. She went to Cheltenham. Look, she would have won that if she was good enough, in my opinion. Now she came back at Fairy House, but like, let's be honest, she's going in against Lossiemouth. She's not beating Lossiemouth.
Yeah, 3 for the flop. Yeah, she's an okay horse. She very much reminds me of Afro Diamond from last year. She's kind of an all-right horse. She's not going to get. Yeah, Sean knows.
God, I've missed this show.
Reminds me Afro Diamond. But yeah, I think she's a lot to find with the likes of Lossie if she does stay over the Mayor's program, and even like Golden Ace. There is worries about will she stay or not, but I think she'll find 2 or 3 good. Even in Ireland, I think Willie would probably have 2 or 3 better than her. Yeah, flop. Next one, Sean, we go to you. Captain Guinness, flop or not?
Oh, Jesus, that's an absolute flop in my boat. If you're starting out the season hoping that he's winning the champion chase, you're in the wrong game. Yeah, like
we thought that last season, though, in fairness.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, but like, if you're looking at that champion chase and you pick out Captain Guinness, you've not got much optimism about the rest. But yeah, no, flop in my book.
Tom?
Yeah, he's an absolute legend, isn't he, to go and win a champion chase and whatever. But you would be surprised if he would be a back-to-back champion chase winner as well. I think you would say, but no, they did some job with him to get him back from Leopardstown and stuff to win a champion chase. So, yeah, no, legend of a horse, but you would be surprised to think you wouldn't be thinking that he's going to go and win another one.
Answer the question, please.
No, I'm going to say not, because I could see him popping up. I could see him popping up in a Grade 1 somewhere, like he did at Cheltenham. But I think there'll be 1 or 2 chases too good for him. I think at Tingle Creek or something like that, I could see him running.
Okay. As much as it hurt me, I think he's going to flop, but not majorly flop. I love him. I've loved him ever since his hurdle days, and I think he made most of the opportunity he got last year, and he had his well-deserved day in the sun in the champion chase, and then just got pipped by Banbridge at Punchestown, which arguably probably was a better run than Cheltenham. And he could be one of these horses that's finally blossomed, but with the horses going from novice into open, the likes of Gaelic Warrior and whatnot, yeah, he'll probably find 1 or 2 too good. But look, it won't be a shock if he pops up in places in the Grade 1s or even next one. But yeah, all in all, I think he'll be a flop. Right, next one, Tom, going to you. Gidley Park, flop or not? Getting Gidley with it.
Yeah, not a horse I was mad keen on last year, so I'd go flop.
Short and sweet, Sean.
I'll be on the fence because I think he'll do well in England. I think he could do similar to what he done last season, build up a couple of wins and then get to the festival, and he's not going to quite cut it against the Irish. So I'm going to say not.
There's so many people up. I was like, yeah, I'm on the fence. I think you'll do well in England. It's like,
yeah, 100%. Like, let's be honest about it here.
Does that include the Cheltenham Festival now, Sean?
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, he'll do well up until that point, and then I don't think
it's like foreplay. You do well in the foreplay, but when she drops the panties, you shit the bag. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
Yeah, look, he'd probably make into a good chaser. he'll win his fair share over in England Mickey Mouse races. He'll probably win that Warwick race, that Grade 2, 2-4, I think it is. But when he comes against the big boys, he'll flop. He'll probably end up being a national horse in few years to come. He's big. He looks like a chaser. I think he'd just be an out-and-out plotter. Now that all these speed horses have to be redirected to the RSA, he could outstay a few up the hill and grab a place in that. But as Sean said, look, he'll win a few races in England and Mickey Mouse races that he'll win. He'll be looked after the start of the season extra or wherever they have the Hole and Go Cups and all them. I think there's a novice race before that. But yeah, I think overall he'll be a flop. Right, who did I go to? Sean, Banbridge, flop or not?
I'm gonna say no. I think his time could be done. Like you have to mess about with him now, waiting for ground. And look, he's not sort of a horse. You have to wait until the day nearly to be going on Banbridge because you're getting any soft on the ground, he's gone. And I just don't know if time ticking over. Like he's getting older now, and I just don't know whether he's gonna be able to keep repeating them big performances on the once run every couple of months. Like
Tom?
Yeah, I think they're going to campaign him like that again, aren't they? Surely, like they may target that Ascot race, and then on to Aintree or Punchestown. So in that sense, I'd go not, because I think he's gonna pop up in a race, or we're going to end up previewing a race some weekend, and you're going to go, God, Banbridge in this, like he's an absolute certainty. Like I think we'll sit there and say he's been really well placed to be in that race. So I think there's a prize to be won with him this season. I don't think he's a Cheltenham horse, but I do think there's prizes to be won with him.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think he's not a flop. I think he's very underestimated. When he gets his ground conditions, as we saw, he's very, very good. Win the Kempton and win the Champion Chase at Punchestown. He's very versatile regarding trips as well. He's middle distance. He's 2 miler. He's a lot going for him. Bar the ground. The ground fucks him up a lot. But when he gets his ground, all his conditions, he's not a flop. He's up there with some of the best of them, as we saw. Yeah, I'd have him not a flop. Right, Tom, Cargeese, flop or not? The pulling little hewer.
Yeah, gonna need to learn to race a bit better. It's hard to tell which one of these is gonna kind of go on, isn't it? I feel one of them's gonna go on, but I don't really know which one it's gonna be. Head would say flop, but yeah, it's hard. It is very hard to know what way some of these are gonna go.
Yeah, I agree with Tom. Like you had Carla Marceau, who was pretty similar to her. Now I'm not saying the exact same. She just went off the boil completely after running mad in that juvenile campaign, then just could not reproduce. And when she came back this season, and I'd be worried about Cargeese, because as I said, like she's gonna go in, she's probably gonna take on the Lossy Mouths, like, and then you had Willie last year who left all these off and didn't come to them until January time, and I don't see it at all. She'd be a flop for me now.
I would give her a chance. I think she's, for how much she pulls and tugs away, she's still there to finish. If Willie can work his magic and teach her how to drop the bridle in behind horses, I think she obviously will conserve a lot more energy and be able to finish off her races a lot better. I wouldn't underestimate her going forward. I think she could be the one that'll jump forward, but it will all depend on whether she's able to be tractable in her races. But look, she's trained by the master, and he's done it with bloody Gallopin the Champ of all horses. He went from a tearaway into a horse they can put to sleep in the middle of a race. So
yeah, and even like with her and Jade de Grugy, like I'd imagine one of them is going to go chasing. I can't see the two of them going down the same route, taking on Lossy Mouth. So I'd say it'll depend what way, or if they do.
Jade, correct me if I'm wrong, Jade is a lot more of a bigger horse, isn't she?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
That is a total guess. But from what I remember, she looks a lot bigger, Mayor. Right, Tom, in the pocket, flop or not?
Not. Yeah, I'm looking forward to a big season from this lad. I'm lucky enough to have seen him in Henry's. Now I don't know anything about him, but you just get told that's him in the pocket going past you. He's a beast, lad. So he is a beast, and Sean will tell you he's got the best beginner's chase form in the book from last season.
In history. history of horse racing. All right, Sean. So he's definitely going to be.
I'm mad keen on him. I think he's going to be. He's going to have a big season like that.
So, Sean, based on Fast Vega form, this thing must be a God-given certainty for whatever runs in.
Absolutely no chance. I took the same stance last year. I 100% have him down as a flop. Like, you go back and you look at his entry win, like, he's been a strong leader. Like, he's some dog, to be honest with you. He's racing up at 3 miles.
Grade 1 winner.
Yeah, actually won an entry, yeah. But look, I don't see it at all. Like, people got excited last year saying that he was given to Henley Hannum and he was ridden against Fast Vega. Like, yes, it's the first day out. All of them are essentially not going to be pressed the full button on the first day. I can guarantee you that.
Jeez, it only took a year for him to say it, Tom.
And
Thank
look,
God.
he's not going to be. He's not going to do it, in my opinion. Like, he's coming up against what? An Imperial Pass at Ballybourne. Like, not a hope in hell I haven't beaten either of them.
I think there's a lot to like about him. Grade 1 winner over hurdles already. Ran in the best beginner's chase, Walton God's Green Earth last year with the unfortunate Fast Vega in front of him. I've always liked him. I think, look, Henry obviously gets a lot out of the chases. He's still a maiden. There's a lot of options open for him. If he does end up not winning great at races, there's that 2.5 mile handicap after being introduced to Cheltenham.
Yeah, he ain't gonna be rated under 140.
Shut up! Will you just leave me have a fucking dream at the end of September for March? Will you just leave me hang on to one?
No.
Dickhead. Oh yeah, I think he's not. I genuinely think he will hold his own against all of them. He has a lot of talent. He jumped well the last day. Whether or not, I don't know. Tom, do you know what injury he had or what was up with him?
No, I don't. But I was going through like horses to follow and stuff the other day, and on one of the articles that comes up was saying that
his internet is gone.
My internet.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
I can't. Okay, sorry.
One of the articles that came up on him was.
You give me the knob when he's done. He's done because I can't hear it. Oh, he's back on my side.
One of the articles came up and said that he could have. They were like he could make a surprise return for Cheltenham. So I don't know what it was, but I presume it couldn't have been that bad if that was still on the cards a few weeks, in February. So I've no idea what it was, but judging by that, it wasn't a serious injury.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think he's a good season ahead of him. Right, Ginger Joe, you may want to block your ears for this one. Marine Moose, aka Marie I Can't Breathe, aka Marie Nationale, Army back. Tom.
It should be a competition of who can breathe better between Marine Nationale, Carmen, and Sergino. Like, that is a poll. That is a poll.
Who's the middle one, Tom?
Sergino. So he's had about 6 win-ups now at this stage, hasn't he? Yeah, no, flop. Like, unfortunately, I was a big fan of that lad after he won at Cheltenham, because I did think Facile would win that day in Cheltenham, to be fair. And I was very impressed then by Marine Nationale. And it just hasn't gone right. It looks like we're at a stage now you can't breathe, which is a shame. And that's a hard thing to come back from. But unfortunately a flop, which is a shame.
Sean?
Yeah, look, he made his debut at Leopardstown last season, and I thought the arc was over. I'm going to be honest with you. He went and flew around that place, and I said, whoa. He could jump fences, and there was no worry about it. But then you come to the run after, and I just can't trust a horse like that. He has to go and do it, and then you can start potentially talking about it. But then you're going to ask the question, and then he has to go and back it up, and then sure, you're at probably the RF by that time around. I think there's a big question mark behind him. I don't know what sort of prices he is, but I think he'd be bonkers to go and start back in this chat for Cheltenham now without seeing him. And you'd have to go and see him do it, go and win convincingly, and probably back her up, in my opinion, because he's still going to have doubters after day one. So for me, it's a flop. And he's going into a division where he's had 2 novice chase starts, and he's going into open company. I don't know. It's going to be hard to find his feet. It's going to be hard to find an easy opportunity to get a win under the legs first, because all these horses are going to be going to the likes of Navins and Aces for them sort of start the races, and then he's into Christmas. Then you have the thing of deep ground. Suppose he doesn't not the best seeing on deep ground. So I don't know what you do, but he's a flop. I couldn't be on his side going into the season.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think he'd flop a lot, majorly like a fish out of water. He can't breathe. Don't care what trainer X, Y, and Z is coming out and saying. He's had issues. His head was up in the air trying to do a backflip. He couldn't breathe that much trying to open his airwaves. I don't buy this bullshit. He can't go on soft ground. He's won 2 grade ones on soft ground, so that's a load of crock shite. Yeah, look, he needs a hell of a lot right to go from. He's obviously had wind issues, which have they been rectified? Probably, but they always rear the ugly head once again. He's had a back injury apparently, which has been fixed. He's meant to have a flat campaign this summer, which went by the wayside for no apparent reason. He was meant to come back at the end of the season, but that was put to bed. And then apparently he can't go on heavy soft ground, so that rules out from October till mid-February. So you have the likes of Cork, or what the thing, Energamine and Undersoyus, what the Healy Way. So if that, they have Leopardstown, which will have either Gaelic Warrior and all Willie's ones running there. Who else? Where else can you go? You can't really go anywhere else unless you want to go to England. And you're going.
That Popular Square race, the other one at Navan and the Hilly Way, like, and I don't see a hope in hell where you're not going to get soft in description and them.
And like, I'm just going to. Sorry, now I'm just going to get the champion chase betting. Like, it's not a big go with him. Look, he's obviously a hugely talented horse, but he's obviously had massive issues since his bomb out at the DRF. So you have the champion chase here. Look, he has to go against the likes of Gaelic Warrior. Like, and El Fabiol, even though he can't jump half the time, I still have him battering him. Energamine still has to come back. Look, he's getting on in years. You have Bambridge. I reckon he'd beat him on good ground. Can he beat Captain Guinness? That if he comes up against Captain Guinness, will he beat him? That's another thing. These are all proven Grade 1 performers, and he's, as much as people who are a fan of, and this is not a go at Joe or anyone who loves him, there's been so much hype and backlog laid on what he done in the Supreme Novice Hurdle. He's not really done that since he beat a load of donkeys at Leopardstown and then got battered at the DRF. Very talented horse. He has a huge task ahead of him. I don't see him coming through it. So on that, I have him as a flop. Now, Joe, you can unplug your ears now. We're done. Next one, who I think is going to be an extremely hard horse to place this season, is Irish Point. Tom, to me, he's not good enough to win a 2 mile Grade 1, and we still don't really know if he stays a true 3 miles. He won a slowly run one at Leopardstown, and then he got absolutely hammered at France when we were over there. But obviously, you can always forgive a horse a run in a tie. What's your thoughts? Flop or not?
I would go not. I think the only reason he ran in the Champion Hurdle last year was because Conman didn't run, didn't classical Conman things and didn't turn up.
I can't wait to get him.
So I'd go not. I like the look of this lad up in Trip. I think he's going to go very well. He's finished second in the Champion Hurdle. He's finished second again behind State Man. There's no shame in that. State Man is a very, very good horse. He gave Magical Zoe a lot of weight at Down Royal. Like he had a really good last season. We'll ignore that O'Toy run as Andrew and Dave found out what O'Toy is all about in May. Is
drinking wine and eating a lot and drinking wine.
Drinking wine at your table in the by the parade ring, which sounds really fancy, but in O'Toy it's not even that fancy. It's so good. And shouting at Danny Mullins as he's going out to ride a race, and him laughing his head off, going, "Who are these lunatics?" It's a great time. It's a brilliant time. So.
Recommend to anybody. It's unbelievable 2 days.
So don't mind that run for Irish Point. I'm really strong on him. I think he's going to have a big season out of that. And I
Sean?
wasn't a fan of his coming into last year, so he's completely switched my opinion on him.
Sean?
Yeah, look, I'm a big fan. I know Dave's a big fan of Irish Point too, and we were keen. This all comes down to Big Gordo, to be honest with you, because he absolutely didn't want them going anywhere near Teahupoo last year. And I don't know. I obviously they're both same owners. I don't know if it's coming down from them that they don't want the two of them racing each other. They want to go separate places, but if they're not willing to take on Teahupoo, I don't know where you're left with this fella. He went to France. Now I know it's the end of the season, but by God, I know the French hurdles are a bit bigger than ours and a bit different. He didn't really go over them great now, to be honest with you. So I don't know whether fences. I don't know. I've seen a couple of people saying maybe go over a fence. I don't know how you take to that. But if he was to go up to that 3 mile hurdle division, I think he's very, very, very big competition for Teahupoo. Like he stays. I'd be confident he stays. You've seen him at Christmas. I know it was a walk, but he's that stale with a turn of gear, and they're dangerous. Very, very dangerous horses. Because he can just pop along and there's no hassle to him. Like he'll settle, drop the head, you stick him anywhere in the race. He's a dude of a horse. I'd love to see him stepped up against Teahupoo, but is it going to happen? I'm not too sure. If he's going that 2 mile division, it's a flop. But if he steps up to that 3 mile division, I think he definitely winning races this season.
He's better than Teahupoo in my book, and I know it's a. They say like, oh, it's an owner's nightmare or whatever. You got 2 horses for the same division. I would not give a shite if I was. You know, both of them have got to get there anyway. And like, what's the worst case scenario? They finish first and second.
You walk in with 2 of them and need a hand.
You get the whole Atchison family there leading the 2 of them in. Like that. That's heaven to me, lads. I've run the 2 of them.
It is, and we said why the hell didn't they do it last season, and I can't see him doing it this season even. I'm just saying I have Irish Point as a more talented horse than Teahupoo, but we know what Teahupoo's plan is going to be straight away. It's going to be the Hamptons Grace and Cheltenham. He'd probably win the races in between, but I can't see them running together. I would, same as Tom, I'd personally run the 2 of them together because he has no hope in the champion hurdle. They've already tried and they've already failed. Yeah. Do they go chasing? He's a 6-year-old now. Do you chance it? I know, Sean, you said about the French hurdles, but you get a lot of horses that don't take to them. As I said, like, if he stays hurdle, he's going to be very hard place a horse because they're not going to run in the Hamptons Grace because that's going to be Teahupoo's race. You're going to have to wait then till Christmas, till the Jack de Bromhead hurdle. And what then? Where'd you run him? Do you run him in the Galmoy at Gorn on bottomless ground? That's why I think he's going to be a very hard horse to place with Teahupoo around. Teahupoo ends up getting, for some unfortunate reason, gets injured or whatever for the season. Oh, simple. Plot him to the stairs hurdle, easy peasy. But as long as Teahupoo was around, I think he's going to be very hard to place, just because 2 of them are in the same ownership and in the same yard. But yeah. Right. Moving on. Sean, Key to Bourbon, 3rd in the Martin Pipe last year. Flop or not?
He's a flop for me. There's a lot of hype around about him. A lot of hype. And I don't quite buy it, to be honest with you. Like, he was 3rd in that race. I don't know if that's the strongest Martin Pipe we've seen. I know at the time people maybe thought it was going to work out. Time will tell. I don't know. Then he's gone to Ayr and bolted up, but like he's not beating much at Ayr now. To be honest, was it Ayr? Yeah, it was. It was up at Ayr. He's not beating much. Now he's thrown into divisions where the Turners is gone, and he's going in against horses that he's sort of. I don't know whether through design or they didn't want to step him up. He didn't go to a Bartlett last year. I don't know. Willie thought his 3 miles are better than him, or he needed time, and then coming back down to 2 miles. But his hurdling, that wasn't great either. I know it can change going over a fence, but I think he's going into deep waters this season, taking on them either top mile 2 milers or going up and trip to 3 miles against like your Dancing Cities and horses like that. I'd have them every single day of the week over him, so it's a flop for me.
Tom?
Yeah, I don't know. I quite like him. He's an interesting one. It's one of those. Yeah, I couldn't be certain if he's going to go on and be a top class chaser or just an average horse. Like he's by Ivanhoe. You know, I don't know. I'm very, very on the fence with him. He's the Stallions. Like, I know, granted, he hasn't had that many runners, but like he's by far the best of any of his. Like, so I don't know. The jury's out. If you had gone to my head, I'd say flop, but jury's out.
I quite like him. I think he's a very good stayer in the making. Whether they stick to hurdles this year or not, I don't know. But I think once he sees a fence and a trip, I think he'll be a lot better for us. Look, obviously, as Sean said, he won at Ayr. We all know what happens at Ayr at April for drinking points. But I always liked the Martin Pipe as a race for horses to take out. There's a lot of good horses after coming out of that race over the past few years, and I think the top three could be decent horses going forward. If he goes chasing, I'd be very interested in him. I don't think he'd be a flop. I think he'll pick up these races, and I think he could be a massive player if he goes to the RSA or whatever you want to call it these days. I don't think he's going to be a flop at all. So I will go not. Sean, interesting one here. Firefox. What do you reckon with him?
He won't be a flop. He'll win races. Like Gordo's a shrewd man. He'll be definitely out and down Royal, and he'll do the early graded races with him. I don't know what trip they're gonna go with him. He didn't go to. I don't know if it just wasn't his going day. On the day he went to the Lawlers and Ace, but down to 2 miles, I thought he was unlucky in the Supreme, and then he's gone to Aintree and he's finished up the back again. And Punchestown, and he's finished just behind Mystical Power, and he's ran a good race. Look, I think he's definitely going to take the offence, and I think Gordo will be shrewd on him. He'd be out early, pick up early races, and then you get to the DRF and you see where you stand. If certain horses don't take to it, he could definitely be the last man standing, but I think he's going to be up there and knocking around them top grade one, so he's not a flop for me.
Tom?
Yeah, I think he's a solid grade one horse. You know, could say he's going to have to take a step forward, but he's not going to have to take that much of a step forward, is he? He's been beaten by Mystical Power twice. He's then finished third at Cheltenham and ran a cracking race there as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him take a step forward. I'd be on his side, especially I think Sean hit the nail on the head there. His early season, he could well be one for a down Royal type of race, and I'd say he's not a flop.
Yeah, I really like him. I think he's massively underrated. I thought he done really well at the bottom end of last season, finishing behind Mystical Power at Aintree and Punchestown. Look, as you alluded there, he started off at Down Royal last season, and he went on to beat the mighty Ballyburn after that. So he must be an unbelievable horse. But yeah, look, I think he looks a chaser, and I think what he's after doing over hurdles, as the saying goes, was a bonus. He'll win. As you said, he will win his early season, but I can actually see him really competing in proper Grade 1 novice chases throughout the season. He'll be the horse there that if any of the real stars, per se, flop in a race, he'll be the one coming past. I think he's a big engine underneath him. I think he'll obviously improve for a fence and improve with age and going forward. I think we have not seen anywhere near the end of his talent, so I think he's not going to be anywhere near a flop this season.
Yeah, I think I should touch on that. I think he'd be the benchmark. He'd be pretty much like found the 50 last year. I think you guarantee it to run to his mark every day, and if the boys don't fire on the day, he's going to be there to pick up the pieces.
He's probably the one you could back blind each way, and you know he's going to finish in the top three.
Yeah.
Right, Tom. I've looked through this horse, and I can't make head nor tails of him. He moved from Gordon Elliott's to Paul Nicholls for a stupid amount of money, and we haven't seen him since he moved. Caldwell Potter. What in the name of God is going to happen with him?
He is going to be, I'd say he's going to be pretty good and without using Sean's term, in the UK. I think he could. I think
in the lower divisions.
Yeah, I know. I think he looks a proper chaser. I know they got a bit of stick. I actually think they did the right thing. They bought that horse as a Gold Cup horse. They haven't bought it to try and run in a novice hurdle at Cheltenham a few months after they bought it, or weeks even. So I know they got a lot of stick, but I actually thought they did the right thing. And yeah, I think he's going to come out just that big chasing type as well. I can just see Harry Cobden getting on well with him. You know how those Nicholls horses just carry their heads out long, like Corto and stuff. Can just see him doing that, and I think he's going to be very nice. Look, when the Irish come over and they meet, who knows? But I think you're going to be talking about him going, wow, he looks pretty smart.
Sean?
Yeah, I 100% agree with Tom. I think he's going to take some whacking on that side of the water. Like, he's going to be a Newbury horse. He's probably going to be a Kempton, Cotto Star, Novice Chase sort of type, and he's going to keep wrapping around them races. Look, he had it. That race that was ran at Christmas was ran in an absolute quagmire. I don't think some of the horses have come out at the same. It took them a long time to get over that race at Leopardstown at Christmas time on the heavy ground, and I'd say they switched yards and they just couldn't get him going, and they were going to rush everything, so they've let him go. And it'd probably be the making of the horse, to be honest with you. Like, you're rushing back there and he goes and gets beaten at Cheltenham, you probably panic and run him at Aintree, and then you're 2 defeats down, you're chasing up the hill. So they've left him now. He's come back in off a break, and as Tom said, I can see him that Harry Cotton's going to get on a dream with. He's going to go up and trip, and I think he'll take some beating on that side of the order.
Yeah, I really want to like him, but I don't know, like, is his form really up to much? That, as you said, Sean, that race, half of him died halfway around the track. I really want to like him. I hope he turns into a really, really top chaser, because as Tom alluded to, he looks every bit a chaser and will be something special. I really hope he's going to be something special, should I say. I'm going to get splinters in my arse sitting on the fence here. I've down on my nose, fuck knows. I don't know what to make of him. So we're allowed one sit in the fence. I'm going to sit in the fence. Right. Next one, we have champion bumper winner, James DeVoe, or Vassie, whatever way you want to pronounce it. Sean, what do you make of him?
Yasmin DeVoe is a flop for me. I'm gonna take a lot of them bumper horses with a pinch of salt. I think the likes of your Romeo Cooley and Jalan Dadaris, I'd say up and trip, and you're gonna see the best out of them. The rest of that champion bumper, there's one or two that went wrong for on the day, but I just think it could be a weaker now. I don't think you're gonna have it anywhere like the Factor Foil bumper that everything just started coming out and winning, and that was the line of form you had to take. It's for me and all them. I think that was the Factor Foil year. That was a strong year. I don't think you're going to have the same again this year. There's a couple of horses in there that I'd be keen to take on. He's gone and blown out at Punchestown, and he's a small individual, and I don't know how he's going to take the role. He's a flop for me.
Tom?
Yeah, inclined to take him on. I'm just looking at his sire stats, because he's by a sire I haven't heard of. He's the same sire as, remember, Gabby Naka.
What a yak that is.
Yeah, well, his sire stats aren't too bad, but he's very small. He's very, very small. So I don't know. I'd be inclined to go and take him on, but for all he was very good at Cheltenham. But I think there's other horses from that bumper that are going to come out and be better hurdlers than he is. Put that way.
Sean's nodding away there. He's gone frozen on my side, so I have no idea what Tom's saying.
He's finished up.
He's finished up. Yeah, I don't like that bumper. I don't like bumpers. I don't like the champion bumper as a race itself. Look, to go out, you can obviously forgive a horse from a Cheltenham run to a Punchestown run. He's getting beat by fucking Redemption Day in the bumper. Like, that just screams, these are shite. I think the only way you'll see him at Cheltenham is probably in the Carl Cup or something like that. I can't see these fellas. The one I like, and we'll get to him on in a minute, he's 3 down. I'll say it now anyway. Romeo Cooley was probably about the only one I would take out of it. I don't know why. He just looks like something that he's going to improve. He's a big stature horse. He's a big national hunt type. The other fella's like a little rat running around the place. I think he'll get bogged down. Like, I don't know. Yeah. He's a flop for me. Right. We ready for this, Tom? Constitution Hill, Thomas.
Flop. Absolute flop. Got laughed at last year. A few got laughed at with Fast Isle. But I'm calling it now flop. I just think some horses just don't come back, and I think he's going to be one. I honestly think you could see him once again this year. Wind has to be an issue. Wind wind or bursting blood vessels. There's something just not 100% right there, and it sounds from reports like it's his wind. And yeah, look, horse is an incredible engine, doesn't he? And like he looks very good. But you can't just sit there with all the favourites.
Very good, Pablo.
Yeah,
You'll have
look,
your chance.
you can't just sit there with all the favourites though and say, oh yeah, that's a great horse. Oh yeah, that's a great horse. So you got to take a little position on one. I'm going to take a position on this and say he's a flop. So
I'll go, Sean. Then you can have the floor. As much as this will probably come back to bite me in the arse, I think he's going to be a flop as well. Like the chap was nearly dead a few months ago. That's surely after taking a lot out of him. And as Tom alluded, his wind as well. He's had to have a wind operation. He's now in outdoor stables. They're keeping Sergino into their plans to see what happens with Constitution Hill. So that to me, that they don't know what Constitution Hill they have, whether he's going to look. If he comes back and flourishes, there's going to take a hell of a horse to beat him. But with everything that's that happened to him, with the colic, the wind, he's now doing a Sam Crow. He's out in the Sam Crow stables. That's never a good sign. So with all little pieces put together, you have to take him on. You just
Sam Crow stables. God, I love that one. That was
true though. He's turning into Sam Crow. Sam Crow was obviously Constitution Hill is done.
That's your headline, lads. Constitution Hill is turning into Sam Crow.
He'll be getting the outdoor stable treatment soon. Nicky will be on the phone to Big Gordo. How the hell did you get him to win at Cheltenham? I'll tell you now, Nicky. But yeah, if he comes back to the horse he is, look, obviously he's going to take some beating. But with everything that's happening to him, winds, colic, God only knows, you have to take him on. The floor is yours, Sean.
Yeah, look, you've got to be honest, and I can't sit here and being a hypocrite and start saying Marine National you have to be worried about and saying you've absolutely zero worries about Constitution Hill. You have to be worried. There's no doubt about it at all. You just have to wait and see when he comes back on the track. Like I could sit here and I can tell you what I hope will happen this season, and I can tell you absolutely nothing else will happen but that. But you have to be honest here, and he's gone out last season. He's missed Cheltenham. Like that filled me with hope, and that absolutely killed me. And then you hear that he's had colic, and now he's had a wind up, and you're saying to yourself, right, are they giving him one last bash, or are they trying to get him to the track? And you're in that predicament now. You have to sit there, hold tight, and wait until he does get to the track. I think if he comes back with 80-90% of his ability, I think he'll win a champion hurdle.
80%?
Yeah, look, if you're not, I'm not going to say 80% of his range. Like
just did.
If you get down to the actual mathematicals, like it's not 80%, but I'm saying like overall, if he can get back to 80% of what he was, I think that would be statement.
Mathematically not, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, of course. Obviously
made up number. Like when trainers talk about horses being fit, like a made up number. Yeah.
Yeah, one of them ones. But yeah, you had to be big time worried. Done big time worried, and I'm his biggest fan. You have to see him come back to the track. He used to go win at Newcastle, and then you have to see him appear again. If he misses Newcastle, for me, you're gone. You're gone because what? You go to Kempton. You go to Kempton.
Win a 3-horse race.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing with him though. Like he's going to go to Newcastle. It's going to be not so sleepy and whatnot. That's going to be run against. But we're not going to find out anything. He's going to batter them on the bridle. He's not going to be really tested it until he gets to a champion hurdle. That's another massive issue for a horse that's not after being asked to come off the bridle and do it on the big day. What's theirs? If people are backing him, if 2-1, 15-8, give your head a wobble.
Yeah, no, Jesus, he's not a betting proposition now. But I think, do you know what? I know he's going to be running against 3 and 4 horses, but just the way his swagger and demeanor is, I think he'll know if he still has that ability in there. I think everyone will just look at it and say, okay, he is still there or he's not, because he's going to tank through a race and he's just going to be Nico de Boinville, fucking trying to hold on, but their life going over the last hurdle, because I think he'll just tank if he still has it. And if he doesn't, if he gets in a battle in the 5th, like you're big time worried. Then 15-day slips might as well be 151.
He didn't tank through that gallop at Kempton, I'll tell you that much.
Exactly.
He moved as fast of a tank.
Yeah. No, so that's what, like, I could sit here and lie, but look, you have to be honest about it, and chances are he's probably not going to come back. But there's that small hope that's going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger in the next couple of weeks, and hope that he does come back.
2 Scoops 10 there made a good point there. He's like, this could be the chance where Willie does actually send something over to take him on, whether it be Lossy Mount Mystical Power, because he has more champion hurdle horses on his hands now, so he kind of has to split them up, and that would be an ideal opportunity to bring one of them over, and the ideal opportunity to actually take on Conhill.
Yeah, true. I don't think you'll catch one for the fight in 5th, but you'll catch one at Kempton, I'd say, because it's not like Willie to have on that ready that early on. Where I think you'll probably catch one at Kempton.
Right. Interesting to see what happens to Owl Conman. New kid on the back for champion hurdle scene. Sean, we stick with you. Mystical Power.
Yeah, look, we said it last season, and you got a bit of stick. Tom loved Owl in Perry Pass, but you have to go and beat the benchmark before you start getting excited. You have to go and beat State Man, and that's one hell of a task. Everyone underestimates him, and it's like, oh, come on, I come with the new novice. But that lad is set by the clock, 10 out of 10 every day, doesn't disappoint, and I don't have Mystical Power beating him. And if you don't beat him, you have no hope in that division, so I have him as a flop.
Tom?
He's got to improve, definitely got to improve. I did like him last year, but is he more of an entry horse? I don't know. He's got to go and improve, and I do respect what you say there, Sean. You've got to go and beat Stateman in Ireland, and that is not easy. I thought Imperial Pass could do it last year, and I think Imperial Pass is probably a better horse than Mystical Power. So, in that case, I'd probably say flop, but it's harsh because I can see him running well. Like, I can see him placing in those races at Leopardstown, and I just think Aintree might be his gig, maybe.
I think he's massively underrated, and he has been ever since. Look, ever since he made it to the track. Obviously, he's by Annie Power out of Galileo, all the way around, whatever. What I really like about Mystical Power is he's constantly improving race upon race upon race. Each performance is being bettered as he goes along. He was in a lot of trouble at Punchestown on the back. Look, he ran at Cheltenham, he came second in the sprint, he won the Grade 1 at Aintree, and then he won the Grade 1 at Punchestown. He had no right to win that Grade 1 at Punchestown the way he was travelling going through the race. But he showed the resilience to pick up and keep going and keep going. To me, that's a horse with a hell of a lot of talent who's, as I said, improving with run upon run upon run. To see where he was and where he finished where he was at the start of the season, where he finished at the end of the season, to me shows this is one hell of a horse. As Sean said, he has to go and beat Stateman. That is the biggest benchmark you will ever see in Ireland. Reigning champion hurdler, multiple grade 1 winner in Ireland. If he can run him close on his first start, he probably won't run at the first start there, but at Christmas or DRF, I think he's a massive player. I think he's underrated, and I think he will see an even better horse again this season. He will have to be better, obviously, but I think he's a hugely talented horse. I'd have him not a flop. I think he's in for a good season. We are on to 15. Tom, Romeo Coolio.
Yeah, he was a talking horse, wasn't he? And if we know one thing about our friend Sean, he likes a talking horse. I
can't hear him.
And he was all over this lad last year, wasn't he? Until he went from 5 to 1 out to 25 to 1. Hard to know. Yeah, hard to know. It's going to be interesting to see where some of these top novice hurdlers come from this season. I think I've got a couple from bumpers for my horses to follow for the show next week, and they're not from the champion bumper. So I don't know. I would maybe go flop, but again, it wouldn't surprise me if he came out and he's very, very good. So.
Sean?
Yeah, no, look, as I touched on earlier on, he is one of the very few that I'll be taking from the champion bumper. He come down the inside and he had a bit of a ragged run the champion bumper. I thought Paddy Muns was a bit sharper. Then a couple of jockeys that day came wide in the best of ground, and I think that's what ended up getting Romeo Coolio beat at Cheltenham, to be honest with you. If you come back at Punchestown, and a bit of a mess of a race, I think you'll see him. He's saying they're going to start off over 2 miles. I think he will be started off at 2 miles at Down Road, but I think over time he might be stepped up, and I think that's when you might see the best of him. I could see him end up being your sort of Lawlers, and now he's going on to a Ballymore type horse. By the time the season starts rolling around, like you'd rock up to a Down Royal 2 mile novice hurdle, and you're not going to have too much to take you on. You're not going to really you're not taking on a top 2 miler. You probably end up then going to Christmas or maybe somewhere else, or onto the Lawlers and Ace. So you can sort of get away with 2 miles around Down Road because you're not more than likely bumping into a Willie or a Henry horse that they think is going to go well that early in the season. So I think he's not going to be a flop. I think you'll be hearing plenty about this horse this season.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he'd be a flop. He's one of two who I've taken out of that race. As you said, it was unlucky at Cheltenham, but I think his future lies over a trip, whether it'll be obviously, as you said, Down Royal, and then I'd say it's the Royal Bond Grade 2 now, whatever it is now. That could be on the card. It'll probably be the Bartlett. I imagine he would go there. To me, he just looks like an out-and-out stayer. But I think he's in for a good season. I think he'll pick up his fair share of races, and I think he's a good horse going forward. Right. Sean, an old favourite of yours. It's For Me.
Oh, what a dude. What a legend of a horse. Yes. What will he do this season? Look, he's to come back. And that's first and foremost. But you go back to his run where he's beaten Caldwell Potter, who's then gone on and won the Grade 1. Sorry, to listen to the flash.
Jesus.
He's gone and won his Grade 1 behind, and look, he's boosted that form. So you come in, he didn't look to learn. I'm hoping in all this time off, he might have learned to just steady up and relax himself a little bit, because he was still tearing away in Paul's hands when he made his maiden hurdle debut. But look, I reckon it'll be a campaign over fences. I don't think you go down the hurdle route of champion. Like, he's definitely not a champion hurdle horse in my opinion. So I'd say it'd be the chase route, and I don't know where you go with him. He could end up being, if he settles, he could be one that goes out and trip. But he's... Can I take one that's... I just don't know what to say, because I don't know if he's a flop or I don't know if he's not. I think
you're allowed one fence it.
Yeah, he's me fence it, because I just don't know what way he's going to come back, what ability he retains, and I don't know how bad his injuries are for a long, long time. So I'd say it could have been a bad one.
Tom?
He's going to show his true colours this year, lads. As long as he comes back in one piece. We went through it last year, didn't we? He had loads of excuses. He had an excuse in the champion bumper. He absolutely lost the plot before it, by the sound of it. And then Paul, he went through it like looking like a very good horse, and Paul looked after him, and he came from last to first. The form of that is working out with a dream to share. We haven't seen too much fact to follow. Went on to very good things. So yeah, I'm very keen on him. He bolted then in the Punchestown bumper, so you can forget about that. And then he's going to beat Coolwell Potter, future Grade 1 winner at Punchestown, after doing a lot wrong on the seasonal debut. So he's mightily exciting still if he can come back.
He reminds me of Fernie Hollow so much, it's not even funny. He really does. He's a tearaway. He's injury prone. He beat future Grade 1 winner. He's just Fernie Hollow in disguise. He wears a hood as well, for fuck's sake. He's just one of these horses. Oh, you're going to turn into Dave, and get so excited when he comes back. And then, as he's entered, It's For Me, setback, injury.
Sporting life, Willie Mullins.
We haven't even gotten back in yet. He's out in our 6th satellite yard, eating carrots right now. We don't know what we have.
That's going to be
and then look, if he does come back, where do you go with him? As Sean said, do you send him over fences? God bless the poor fucker if he was on top of him going over a fence, because you weren't going to have. Jesus wept. He has to be a flop. He just reminds me so much of Fernie. I'm sorry. Another one of Sean's. Fact to Foil.
Oh, baby. Yeah, look, you have to be excited about him. You have to just hope for that division that he is gonna push on through. Look, I said at the time of Cheltenham, and Tom's touched on it a couple of times. That race was do not leave everything in this RSA, and there's bigger days ahead because they just completely revert the tactics of what he'd done all season. He was sitting at the back, and he couldn't go at his fences. Now I don't know what that means for this season because he made one or two slight errors when you were trying to just get him to pop him, where he wanted to go and take 5 lengths out of the fence every single time he wanted to go around. So they've that mission. He done him a gallop in the Champ. In my mind, Willie Mullins can do anything. He's God. So I will not be surprised if this horse comes out and has dropped stone cold sober last and is not even budging. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But he's to tweak him a little bit. He's to learn him to settle, and I think he has the credentials to be a Gold Cup horse, 100%. Look, he's gone and tanked around. The DRF run was off the scales, and he's gone and just done. If you go and watch that RSA, look, I had a bet, and I was a bit more conscious at the time and thought he didn't really win that well. And then you go back and watch, and Mark Walsh is barely tickled, I might say, to say, yeah, go on, go over the last, and away you go. And he's done it very, very easily. I think there's a lot more value to that winning distance than you can see on the paper. I think he is one that's going to go to a gallop. And look, he did take a run. Look, I thought he was one that maybe beat him in the Duke, and he took a run last season, so that'd be me worry. So he could get beaten first time out, and then people are straight onto his back because he massively improved from first to second run last season. He's beaten by American Mike hands down, and then he goes and turns into what he was. So maybe the Dukin isn't the place where he's going to overturn galloping. But you get to Christmas, and hopefully the two of them have had a run, and they get there one-on-one, and you see what's going to happen, because in a division that I think galloping, look, towards your Count Gold Cup, he's phenomenal. And he's a phenomenal horse. But you've got to hope that something's coming up now and could potentially definitely throw it to him. And for me, it's back to full. Tom?
I agree with everything Sean said for once. I am all over him like a rash. I love this horse. He absolutely annihilated Gaelic Warrior in Leopardstown. I know that everyone's saying, Gaelic Warrior wasn't right, and I'm sure he couldn't have actually possibly beaten him like that if he was right. But this lad breaks horses, as I said after that. He was taking the 2 wins at Leopardstown. He was going on down the back. He was putting the race to bed, jumping free out at Leopardstown, before he even was anywhere near free out, actually. So I just think he's such a high cruising speed. He travels, in a Gold Cup, you need to travel and you need to stay. I think he does both of those in abundance. And look, if anybody is going to start talking about the RSA last year, and I know he only won a few lengths, he wasn't that impressive, just go back and watch it, lads. He popped around. Apparently JP had a bet. It seems to have been confirmed in all corners. But he absolutely dotted up there. So I can't wait for him. Galloping, absolute legend of the game. He's another year older. How many horses win 3 Gold Cups? When you get to it, how many horses win 3 Gold Cups, and I think he's got a proper rival here in this land.
To me, he's by far the best of the JP 3 milers going from novice into Gold Cup. To me, he's by far. I think anything has to be a superstar to get near gallop in the Champ. I know everyone's saying, he's going for 3 in a row. As Tom said, who's done it before? I don't think we've seen anything since this fella that can do what Gallopin is doing. I think he's unfortunate that Gallopin's around because he could be a potentially very good Gold Cup horse. To me, I still think that he could be suspect the 3-2. Just on visual of what I see, and I know some people say, as he said, he's just popping around at Cheltenham. He was good at the DRF, had a lens bet, so he's the best horse in the world that day. But I think there's just for any horse going from novice, they all have to get to gallop, and even they have to get to Jerry Colom's thing. But he's probably well able to get to Jerry. I think just King Galloping is just. Yeah. On the basis that Gallop the Champ is around, he has to be a flop because he's going to be running the majority of the races Galloping is running. But he's a very good horse. Where are we going?
You know what, one thing I would say, just say the stamina does come in for whatever reason and he doesn't stay. By God, Jesus, I think he'd be dynamite in a Ryanair. If you just let him go on a Ryanair, that's like Alaho stuff. Like you just say, here, point and shoot, and just stay on his back. Like I think if it did come to this stage where he was suspect and he wasn't getting home, I think by God he would not disappoint that 2.5 miles.
Look, there's no clear evidence that he's not going to stay. It's all guesswork. It's all guesswork, and I'm guessing. It's a fucking educated guess. But I think by the time we get to Cheltenham, we'll find out where he is in the pecking order because he's going to have to meet him at some stage.
Yeah.
They're going to need to find out where he is. And JP has about two or three potential Gold Cup horses where they're going to have to find the pecking order. And whether they want, I'd love to see him at the DRF against them. I'd love to see all of them line up for it, including Jerry and all the rest of them line up against Gal, because then we will know, is he really a Gold Cup horse? Are the novices coming up really at the standard? Is Galpin still as good as he was? Look, I just think until Galpin shows that he's not the Galpin champ that he was, he's the horse that sets a massive standard. But look, it's making the Gold Cup picture very exciting for the season, so all the better for that. Golden Ace, this should be quick. Tom?
Yeah, I like her. She's got to go step up and do a bit more. But yeah, I like her.
Sean?
Yeah, I like her too. As Tom said, tongue in cheek, the English side. Oh God, like she's gonna be Horn. I think she's further down. There's another mare in there as well. That's gonna be them two. I think will come to the forefront. Look, people want to look over this mare's novice hurdle because they don't want to believe that she's gone and done it, but she did. She went to beat Bright Days Ahead. She went to beat Jade de Grugy. I know she's gone to a smaller race at Cheltenham, I think, when they were looking for better ground. But this mare's done nothing wrong. She's done absolutely nothing wrong, and you have to take her serious.
Yeah, you can't fault what she's done at Cheltenham. My only issue is when it does come to Cheltenham, the mare's hurdle is over 2-4. Will she stay? That's the problem. But she, obviously, as usual, we'll allude to the other horse in a while. Two of them are going to be fighting hammer and tongue through the mare's races. Even might end up with Greatwood, who knows? But I think she won't be a flop in England. I think she'll win her fair share of races. Tom, Splan's Tower, JP's other Gold Cup horse.
He's good, him. Yeah, I don't mind him at all. I could see him placing in the Gold Cup.
We love him, Tom.
Yeah, maybe just not quite being good enough. But yeah, no, I like him. But yeah, he's definitely not going to be a flop. I like that horse.
Sean?
Yeah, I like him. I wouldn't be surprised if he played around with for a while, because he's sort of gone and done any damage. But going into open company, if he drops down a little few, I can see JP lining up a massive one. I don't think he's Gold Cup credentials, but I do think he's a good horse. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays out. And if that mark starts to trickle down, I would not be surprised to see this lad land a massive pot.
Yeah, I think he's a good horse. He's no way a Gold Cup horse to me. I just can't take to him. Look, I know he's been beat by Blood Destiny over 2 miles, and then he beat him over 2 mile 4. It's just something about him I can't really take to. I don't think he has the class to win a Gold Cup. Whether they end up going Ryanair with him or whatnot, I don't know. I just can't. I can't see where he fits in. Really, going forward next season, he's a hard horse to place because I think he's down the pecking order in JP's 3 milers. So whether he's stuck to middle distance, I don't know. But as I think he'd be a flop, I can't see him really taking much away from the big lads going forward. Elite de France, Sean. Francais.
Flop. Yeah. Look, he did wickedly disappoint. He's been put away since, and look, by the sounds of it, they think that he's best before Christmas, and the big game is the King George. So if you don't go into King George, it has to be a flop. And I think that King George could be quite a nice race this season. A couple of the Irish lads, I think they've already lined up fast or slow. I definitely think Willie might be sending one there with his crew of horses. I think he'll definitely send one across the water, and I think that could be a hot race this season. And I don't have him beating some of them horses.
Tom?
Yeah, I like him. I think they'll get him back. I think you'll see him out in a toy there rather soon. With the pre-spring campaign, the one they have in mind. So yeah, I think it'll overall around the King George. I know they're saying that they might look at different options in France as well. I wouldn't think you're going to see him over here a great deal. I think if you saw him over here in the King George, I wouldn't even make him a certainty to go to Cheltenham. Even if he won it. So yeah, I think it's all going to be about the autumn campaign. But yeah, no, I think he's an aeroplane. So yeah, love to see him back.
Yeah, I think he'd be a flop. Look, he'd win the French races, and he could probably come to the King George. But as Sean said, look, this King George could be an unbelievable King George. Just looking at the betting, you have Fast or Slow, you have Factifoil, you have Jerry Clom, John Bond, Galloping Won't Run, Brave Man's is not the same, but you get your other horses like a Grey Dawn is now then stepping up as well. Look, he was visually very, very impressive in the Quarter Star last year. You can't take that away from him. I think it was a track record or something near it or something like that. I don't like the way he went off the boil really fast. Like it was such a bad run on his comeback. I didn't like that. Yeah, I think he's going to be a flop. It's not the first time he's bombed out either. So whether they're saying the spring campaign or early autumn campaign is what he needs, I think he'd be a flop when he comes over here. I think something will beat him. Right. Speaking of Grey Dawning, Sean, Grey Dawning, the last ever Turner's Novice Chase winner.
Yeah, funny enough, the English finally get a race and they just colour from the Cheltenham Festival.
They just shafted themselves.
It's brilliant stuff. But yeah, look, I had a serious look, and I'm gonna say it now. I think that staying division in England is a shambles. Like this lad is stepping up, and what's he taking on? Brave Man's Game. Like he could take. I know it's like I'm not blowing him up to be this big horse, but he could take some whacking in all them races. Like you've Dan Skelton, who protected that many a year, went and done that Betfair Chase. If he hasn't got him lined up for that first run of the season, I will be gobsmacked, because unless Irish horses go over and Willie doesn't have anything ready that early in the year, unless Gordon goes and sends Jerry Colombo, no doubt it'll be up to Down Royal. That race is going, like, I'd fancy putting a saddle on myself and Tom's getting on top, and I could even place in it, because it's going to be horrific stuff. So I think him and them staying races over in England this year is going to take a lot of beating.
Tom and Andrew's frozen, but yeah, I agree. I think they'll have him out good and early and ready to rock. Yeah, he's going to be a difficult horse to place when it comes to later on in the season, I feel, but he's a very, very nice horse. But I would imagine the novice campaign was him, but I wonder could he go in a nice handicap off a big weight somewhere back at Cheltenham? You know those 2.5 mile handicaps they have there. Maybe that could be those. Yeah, maybe something like a Paddy Power could be his gig actually.
I love this horse. I've always liked this horse from the Turtle days. I will never ever fucking forgive myself for not backing in the Turners. I fucking fell into the facile fucking Vega trap.
Idiotic idea.
Fuck me. I know. I have not, to this day, I have not forgiven myself for it. And I was like a fucking thundering bastard watching it, because I knew it was happening. But yeah, look, as Sean alluded to, this is going to be Protectorate's path he's going to take. He's going to win the Betfair. He's going to be drilled to the lines to win the Betfair. What's that race at Newbury? It's in February time, is it? I can't remember.
There's a couple of great races around there, yeah.
The Denman Chase, is it? Not the Denman Chase, that's so short,
yeah.
Is it? Yeah. He'll win that as well. He'll get absolutely his arse handed to him then in the Gold Cup, but he won't be a flop in England. He'll win his fair share of races. He's a very talented horse, and he's a fucking lovely looking bastard. Right, Tom has to pop off early, so we're going to get this out of the way. Ballyburn. Floor is yours, Tom.
Flop. Yeah. Again, this is a bit like Conman. With some of these that just look aeroplanes, you've just got to put your neck on the line with them. Again, same with Fastball last year, Sean, before you start.
I love to wait.
Look, for me, he's one of these that I think Willie will be spitting out his cornflakes now when he saw that the Turners was gone, because he's not quick enough for 2 miles. He's not going to want to run this lad over 3 miles. Not the way he travels, not the way he carries his head. I think he's too keen for a 3 mile slog. Sean made a point, I'm sure, that he was still galloping, but that race, you look at the winners of the Ballymore, like none of them are slow boats to China, which I think to win an RSA you have to be, unless you've got that turn of foot and a bit of class like Factor Fire lad. I don't think that this lad would be able to settle and jump and then do that at the end of 3 mile. So for that reason, yeah, I'm keen to take him on, and the fact that he beat Goats in the Ballymore at Cheltenham as well. Sean's on about saddling up and getting me on his back and giving it a go. I'd say we could have finished we'd have been, look, put it this way, Sean, we'd have been in the 4 places. We'd have been going back into the winners enclosure afterwards at Cheltenham in that race.
It was a fucking interesting Saturday night. Jesus. I go next, Sean. I put up last season the horse to follow. I really liked him last season. He done everything he needed to do, but point Tom made, he was beating fucking Goats. Bar Slade Steel, who he beat at the DRF, Brighter Days Ahead, done the exact same thing to the same horses at Aintree. The fact that the Turners is gone, as Tom said, Willie Mullins is pulling his fucking hair out what to do with this fella now. I don't think he'll stay. I think he will do way too much throughout a race that will affect his chances of staying. If he can settle him, drop the head, drop the fucking head, it's fucking on the ground as it is. He might have a chance. Then does he have the real speed for a 2 mile chasing around a Cheltenham track? Don't know. And how many superstars coming from the Ballymore have we seen actually go and progress to be superstars? Not many. He's not going to be I don't want to say, I have to say it, a flop, but he's not going to go to season unbeaten. Let's put it that way. He's not going to go to season unbeaten. Something's going to beat him. And there's a lot of good horses going novice chasing.
I'll keep taking him on all season until I get it right at some stage. It's a bit like if you go to the casino.
Like me with con man. I get it right one day. One day I'm going to get it right.
One day you're going to get it right. You go to the casino and you start betting on red. Chances are you're going to be right like 1 and 2 times. So
Tom, you're starting to sound like a certain man. I don't like this.
Who's this? God. I don't know who you're on about.
Name, Sean. You can't just say that and not name the person.
Yeah, he's sounding like a man that he loves that does the racing post. You can't just keep going to the well and just keep laying these horses and keep losing money and losing money and losing money.
Give over now.
Johnny Deneen. Your dad.
Yeah, your dad, yeah. Can't wait to meet your dad, and whatever you introduce me to him as, I'm going to say hello, Johnny, and he's not going to have a clue what's going on.
And we are going to be on the fucking floor. Do you want to head now, Tom, before we keep going, or do you want one more?
Yeah, I've had a bounce, lads. Got a few things going on here, but fantastic to be back. Great to see all the comments and the usual faces in the comments, and yeah, we're back refreshed. Going to be a great year. We'll get Dino Dave back at some stage as well when his dog's not ripping up the house.
He disciplined her today now. Whether it's the dog now or the missus, I don't know.
Oh, I was going to say, you wait. The next thing now is he'll find love, and that'll be it. He'll be gone. He'll forget about it.
He won't be allowed outside the house?
No, between the puppy and the missus, that's it. If you're going to bring him for walks down the promenade while we're doing our podcast.
How'd you keep Dave happy? Puppy, missus, turkey burgers.
Turkey burgers, yeah. Jesus Christ. I tell you that I have one story before I go. It was the funniest thing, lads. If you ever see us somewhere or somewhere, come and say hello and have a chat with us, because you get the funniest stories. So we're in Paris, and I brought my stepson with me, and Dave, we're stood outside Notre Dame and
Oh, for
looking
fuck's
over
sake.
pictures of how it's getting rebuilt
Jesus
and
Christ.
how they
what?
built it in the first place. And Dave's telling Callum how it has to have been done by aliens. And Callum stood there looking at him. Is he joking? And Dave's full on deadpan. No, that was aliens that did that. Yeah.
I full on thought I was still fucking pissed.
Poor
I
Callum.
was too hungover to even care. I
looked at him and was like, are they fucking for real or are they taking the piss? They had a full-blown argument for about 20 minutes over this.
Over aliens building Notre Dame. It's fun. It's an amazing time, Barris, in May. All right, I'm off. Talk to you soon, guys.
Bye, Tom.
Bye.
Right. Oh, wait, I had to fix this now. Boom. Fucking technology. Right, we'll fly through these, Sean. We're nearly an hour and a half in. Monty Starr.
He'd be a flop now. I think Factor Full is the one to take out of that one. There's only 2 pins actually on Ballybourne, just because I know.
One.
Just on look, I think he is.
Did I not coach you about Ballybourne? Sorry. Go on.
I think he is really, really good. I would be of the opinion that what he's done last season, he probably shouldn't have been doing over that distance. I think it was very, very, very incredible what he was doing last season. To be going down to 2 miles to the DRF, and out of that you get a Supreme winner and the county hurdle winner, and he's made them look like average, very average horses. He's then gone up and trip. I just think if you look at his pedigree, like it's laced in stamina. It's 3 miles through and through. And I think for him to be able to come back down to 2 miles last season and win the grade ones and also up to 2.5. Look, Punchestown comes at the end of a hard season. I know he looked workman-like, but you have to take that with a pinch of salt. He's still gone and done it, and he wasn't like throwing the full kitchen sink, and it was just a bit more, it was less flashy than what he was doing before that. He just done what he had to do and win. But I just think that DRF run we saw something special, and I think up and trip this season, I think he is one that will get a trip. I know the lads aren't too favour and they talk about the Ballymore, but if you being honest, he would have won a Supreme. If I don't know what the record's like for that, I think he would have won either the 2 races. It was at his Mercy where Willie wanted to run him. I don't know what the records are any different for Arkle winners are going up, but I just don't think he was just a Ballymore horse. He could have easily won the Supreme, but they chose that and they had other horses for the Supreme. So I really, really all over him. I think he will shine. I think he'll get the 2.5 mile. He'll do the 2.5 mile all season until he get to Cheltenham, because I just think it's built that way. You start off in 2.5 mile chase around probably Punchestown, the Gaelic Warrior. You have the Faheen chase, then you step up the 4.5 to what's a 2 mile 5.5 at the DRF. And then I think you then go up to the RSA. I don't see a world where Willie's going to be running over 3 miles all season long, because it's just unnecessary.
He never does it. Never does it with novices.
No, never. You just don't need to do it. You don't need to be emptying them. And I think he is that step of 2.5 mile Faheen at Christmas, DRF.
Now, look, I really like the horse. As I said, I put him up last season, the horse to follow. So I hope he turns into what we all thought, like the likes of Fast Side Vegas, like Sam Crow and all them would turn in. It's all the back hope of this fucking, here's the next superstar here. We've seen it so many years. It's just natural to say, well, go do it now against big. Well, even if he does do it over novices, it's then the same question is going to be asked, obviously, by can he do it now in the Open? So we're going to have the same questions for 2 years. So look, I hope he does. It's the whole over racing that would bother the life out of me. How many times can he go to the well racing like that? And obviously hasn't really come off the bridle, but something's going to happen. Right. Where are we going? We are going to Lossiemouth.
Yeah, Jesus. Look, I was one to take her on last season. I got my hand burnt in the Mares Hurdle. She was epic, but I just thought coming through, but Willie done an unbelievable job, bro. And she's definitely... I'd love to see her running the DRF 2 mile race. And look, if it doesn't work out, then you go back up and you just take the mares at Mercy, because I don't see anything that's coming through that's going to beat her there. But I would love to see her running that DRF against State, man. And as we said, he is the benchmark. And I don't think he produces his best at Cheltenham, and I think he could be vulnerable. Not vulnerable to her at Cheltenham, but she'd have to go and beat him at a DRF for that to happen. So I'd love to see them face up at one point this season.
I would rather run her champion hurdle route every day of the week. I think she is such an improving mare. She does everything so easily, and the fact that she's getting the £7 is a massive, massive. As we look, we've seen no honeysuckle. £7 is huge when you're coming against the boys, and when you're proper grade one horse, it makes it even better. I don't see why they don't obviously try it at the start of the season, try it at Christmas, wherever. See what you have. See, can she hang with the boys? See, if she can get close to State Man, beat State Man, 100% the champion hurdlers. Even if she did get beat, I would still bring her to Cheltenham in the champion hurdle. She's showing her best form at Cheltenham. She pissed up last season in the. Look, she beat Tell Me Something Girl, which we would probably beat. But it's the way she goes through her races, the way she made her comeback into the international hurdle, the way she's putting the races to bed. She stays further than 2 miles, which is always a massive plus. And she has a speed and she jumps really, really well. I think she's a massive season ahead of her.
Yeah, I'd love one of these mares novices to come through now and be. So Willie's second string is the best as well. And I think that could force the hand. Because I think, obviously, Willie goes to Cheltenham looking to win as many races as he can, and he looks and says, right, that's probably a penalty kick. She stands up, she wins. But if the second string comes through and is strong and beating everything, I think it then gives the option of champion hurdle, because Willie is thinking, right, we have one for the mares too.
But then how are you going to tell Rich Ritchie, all right, we have a really good horse. Your horse is champion hurdle credentials, but we're going to run the mares. He's going to go. And I was going to try an American accent there. I'm not going to fucking try it. He's going to say, no, Willie, she's running in the champion hurdle. Yeah, I really like her. I'd say Dave would say the same. But, yeah, not a flop. Good season ahead. Jericho the Weapony.
Yeah, look, I was on the side of him last season looking at what was going in, but always in the back of my mind, and then when he hit the graded company, I was fastly off ship. I know Nicky Henderson's was going through a poor plot, but look, yeah, he's a flop.
Yeah, I would agree with that flop. I don't think he's anywhere near what people are making out to be. He was winning races when Nicky's weren't sick, and yeah, I just think he's going to be flop. I think he's a grade 2 horse at best. Good land, Sean. Good land for the good people, as ABW would say.
Yeah, look, he's coming back this season. You can't exactly say the DRF race has worked out well. And
shite is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, shite. He was down the field in the Ballymore as well. He's off a long time coming back. He's absolutely. I couldn't have him anywhere near the same stratosphere as some of them novice chasers going this season. So he's definitely a flop for me.
No, he's going to end up some handicap throughout the season. I don't think he's anywhere near the level. Where are we next? Corbett's Cross, National Hunt Chase winner. Very impressive, but beat rats.
Yeah, he was very impressive. Look, we know Emma Mullins, we know what he does, and it just stinked of a plan all season, and it's come and unfold. I wouldn't be surprised to see a different campaign this season. He went and ran very well in the Grade 1 at Aintree when he just... I didn't think he got home, and I know people say, oh, you won a National Hunt Chase, but he just didn't look to get home in that top quality of a race against Jerry Calam. He came there the 2 out, and he just fell down a little bit, and he came back down into the places.
He emptied very quickly.
Yeah, he emptied very quickly. And I think this season you could see an entirely different campaign. I think he's jumping. They'll get back and let him. Like, he was held up out in the rear in that 3 mile race, which was probably a warning straight away to say, I don't know if he is going to get home. I could see him falling into a Ryanair candidate, and I think he could be a horse you could see pick up a couple of races this season. Yeah,
I agree with the Ryanair. I think that will be the race for him. Obviously, look, now has Cheltenham form. He can perform on the big day. That race was terrible, but he can only do what he done and win it. I don't want to say flop, because I as you said, I think he'll pick up his races. It's just where they're going to campaign and whether they start him. Obviously, novice chase, or not novice chase, open chase somewhere, or whether they keep him the handicaps. I don't know what mark he has right now. I can't imagine it's going to be that big. But yeah, I'm going to say not a flop. I think they could campaign him in some of the big handicaps. And try a grade at race throughout the season. Yeah, I think he'll have a good enough season. Jeez, I'm gone. All right, here we are. Imperi Pass. A lot of people's idea of the Arkle winner.
Yeah, very jiggy on him. Very, very jiggy on him now. I think from the end, from the season, basically the second half of the season, I was dying to see this lad just wait for the season to tick by and get him over a fence, because look, people are going to knock them early, which was very harsh in my opinion. You go to Hupu's back garden, Hampton's Grace, 2.5 miles heavy ground, and he picks you up in the last 100 yards. Like, that's not disgrace. He goes to Leopardstown and he was beaten by Stateman. Then again, it's looked frowned upon to be beaten by Stateman nearly. Like, it's not a bad run. Like, he has a really high level, really high rating. I think he's up into the high 160s, and that's incredibly high, dropping back into novice company. He's gone and rectified everyone's doubts. He's gone and won 2 races at the end of the season, picked up the entry hurdle, and he's gone to Sandown and dotted up again. I think the drop back down and trip will be key to him. I don't see him as an out-and-out slogger for a 3-miler. I don't see him as a 3-mile horse at all. And I think he could be the one that's electric over a fence. And what is the point in keep holding back, taking back if he is jumping well? And I think dropping him back down to 2 miles, I think this lad could be absolutely electric. And I'm not too keen on the 2-milers coming through. I know we talked about Firefox, and I'd have him over at Firefox and likes of them horses. I don't think Ballybourne. I think him and Ballybourne be split. I think they'll end up being the 2 number ones. And I think this lad, you're going to be hearing a hell of a lot about this season. I think he could come back, and I think he'll have a lot of fans come the end of the season.
Yeah, I think he's going to be Willie's number 1 going into the season for Novice Chase. He's every stamp of a chaser. Look, as you say, look, there's absolutely no shame whatsoever in getting beat off Stateman twice. Well, people probably knock him because they changed tactics to the DRF. They made him into a front runner, didn't suit him at all, and he got ran out of it by Bob Olinger in the 3rd. Look, Paul looked after, or not Paul, Danny looked after him when he was well beaten. Involved in one of the finishes of the season at Aintree, and that was, I think, getting his nose in front there done him all the good in the world. Even getting into the battle done him all the good in the world, and he dotted up, as you said, a Sandown. I think Tom is going to be all over him for the Arkle as well. He loves him. I would be as well. I think he's a fair price out. I think he's about 10, 12 to 1 in places for an Arkle. I think that's a very fair price for the caliber of horse you're getting. If you write off if he went, just imagine the price he would be now. If he was coming straight from the Ballymore, straight novice chasing, you'd be looking at 3 to 1, something like that. I think he's very
4 to 1 or something for the season after.
I think he's a massive horse with obviously massive fucking horse. Wrong words. A horse with a massive amount of potential over fences, and I think he's going to have one hell of a season. Right now, he'd be my ideal of out-and-out Arkle horse. Another one whose plans haven't got ripped up in the air because there's more options for her. Brighter days ahead, Sean.
Yeah, look, Turner's gone now. It's, in my opinion, it's a very obvious route that you go now. Like, you go to Mares Hurdle, you go to Mares Chase route, and they said that they're going to go over fences this year. I think she could be one that you'll see go to Drimmore. I wouldn't be at all surprised. Gordon likes to get them out early, as we touched on with Firefox. And if he sticks Firefox to 2 miles, then there's a 2.5 mile chance there early in the season. And I think she will. Look, she was amazing at Aintree. I know you absolutely loved her, and I think she will definitely grow into this big frame. And she's only improving all the time. I think. Look, that Mares Chase division, I just don't know. I just feel like you have to take on the likes of a Limerick Lace when they win it. You just hope that the novices coming through might be a bit better than her. So I think she will definitely be winning races this season.
Yeah, I think she's a special mare, and it's really a shame that the Turners was gone this season, because I think she smacked at that all day long. Hugely talented mare. She done more or less what Ballybourne done to the same horse at Aintree. I do agree she will come out early this season. She came out early last season to get a lot of experience into her, and I imagine they will do the same again here. I cannot see anything getting near her in the Mares Chase. I don't think they're not on her level. She's only going to keep going up. The rest of them we know are Limerick Lace. She's a grade 2 horse. Obviously, Mare is grade 2, but that's her level. This Brighter Days is a grade 1 mare. She's a grade 1. She could. Now, here's the problem. I'm stopping myself. Here's the problem. Now that it's gone, now that the Turners is gone, it wouldn't be unlike him to change their minds. and go, let's go the mayor's hurdle route?
Yeah, I wouldn't. It wouldn't take me by shock.
I was going to say this is the biggest GSI into a race I've ever seen in my life. Then I'm like, it would not be beyond the realms of impossibility that they do change their mind, because I think they were really set on going for the turners. So they've many options open for her.
Yeah, and like you look at that. I'm just thinking it through my head now. Like as you say, like the Mayor's Chase is a grade 2. Where do you pick up the grade 1s? And there's a grade 1. Like there's a campaign there for Mayor's, like about hurdles. Obviously, as you've seen grow year on year, plenty of grade 1s to be picked up. So yeah, it'd be interesting. Yeah,
what they want to do with the breeding side of it.
Yeah.
Right. Big match. What in the name of God would you do with Big Match?
Yeah.
Marlborough, anyone who doesn't know who that is.
Yeah, Marlborough. Look, I don't know. It's not like I just feel like in recent years what Willie's been doing with the juveniles, I can't see how he's just going to turn it on its head now and just start them off early season and give them the campaign that he's like changed completely for the juveniles. Wait till after Christmas. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he doesn't go novice chasing, although I don't know what I think to myself, and I'm like, he's not a champion hurdle horse, so what do you go down the stairs route? I don't know. I think he could be stuck in a bit of a limbo if you don't go over fences.
I reckon they will. They done with Blood Destiny last year, coming out of a juvenile campaign. They get a massive weight allowance up to Christmas.
Early doors, yeah.
It's a £9 or something like that they get.
Yeah, it could be a
something ridiculous like that they get. Yeah. He could easily to do what he done on his first run in the UK and Ireland to win a Turner's me head, to win a Triumph. That's a huge performance, absolutely huge performance. So he has at the everyday look of a chaser. He's massive. We seen him at the DRF. We're like, that thing can't be for passport, please.
That's what I was loving it. Like everyone's like, "Oh, who's this Marshall?" You just look in the ring and you're like,
"Oh, there he is."
Yeah, I don't.
I think that's twice the size of everything else. I correct myself. Wanting the first one at Cheltenham, the second one. But yeah, I reckon the logic would be to win your few races up to Christmas time. Then, if you want to go to Cheltenham, if everything has been A1, go to Cheltenham for one race. That way, he's not really had a hard season against the big horses. He had one race at Cheltenham or be it Punchestown or wherever. Because by the way they're talking about this lad is an absolute, could be a freak of nature. So,
yeah, and the way they talk about him as a future stayer, and that's what I just think, like, with the Turners now gone, you do have to start thinking differently. It's going to take a while to click in my head anyways. But, like, you want him running an RSA, that's what you have to ask yourself now. Like, there's no Turners there anymore.
Yeah.
He has to go to the slog. He's not going to run an Arkle. And as Tom was saying earlier on, if there's one man absolutely fuming that the Turners gone, it's definitely Willie Mullins, because you just, like, do you want to be getting him in a slog at 5?
But then the thing is then as well, you don't have to. He's at an age where you don't have to run him at Cheltenham. He doesn't have to go to the festivals. If the end goal is the future Gold Cup horse, you get him experience as a novice. You take advantage of the £9. Maybe you put him away until next year, and then you bring him out another year older, another summer on his back. Like this race is there for him. There's a few lads are competent there. There's the Drimmore, the Quarter Star of Kempton as well. That could be a race for him. There's a lot of options open for him. So I reckon he could go. And I don't think he'll be a flop no matter what he does.
Yeah, no, I think he's definitely, he is something. He is something, definitely.
We have two left. We have two left. Second last one, we will go with the Supreme Novice Hurdle winner, Slade Steele.
Yeah, tricky one, because, like, okay, you take a pinch of salt, as we say, Punchestown form. I was really impressed with what he done at the Supreme, because although he was headed, Rachel Blackmore looked as if she never panicked and felt that she had a horse underneath him. But I asked myself, is he a Gold Cup?
Yeah, probably not. I think he's going to be an even better chaser. Look, we know the whole adjective Henry makes all his hurdlers better chasers. He looks a stayer, even though he won a Supreme. Make sense of that. What you want? He powered up the hill. Mystical Power came up siding with the speed, and as you said, I was on Mystical Power that day, and I was like, I never even started getting giddy because I seen Rachel sitting there. I was like, this, she has something under her knees right now. And the second he got upside her, off Slay Steel went. Again, yes, the question is he a Gold Cup horse? Who knows? That'll be 2 years' time. Could he win a Browns? Possibly. Can he win an Arkle? I don't think he can win an Arkle. There's your rock and hard place now with the Turners. This is why I was so adamant that not to get rid of the Turners, because give them their middle distance race for the Turners for their novice season, then fuck away the Ryanair. You're either Gold Cup horse or you're champion chaser.
Yeah, no, but that's all. Like even like he's gonna go out. Look, he's gonna win his beginners. Though, be no doubt about that. He's gonna win his beginners chase. But I just don't know who he goes and takes on then, because like as I said, I wouldn't fancy him against an Pere Pass. No. Open trip, you're probably taking on a Ballybourne, and I just don't know if he's going to be a 3 miler this season. So I don't know. I think he'd be a tough one. Look, I think the races are going to be competitive. They're going to be. There's a good couple of novices going through there now, and they're all just going to add quality to it. But I don't know what way they go with him this season. I'd be interested to hear if Ant comes out in the next couple of weeks.
The more we're talking about this now, the more this novice chase division, and from 2 miles to 3 miles, it's looking fucking lethal. Right, we will finish off. We're going to finish off in Ballybourne, but Tom had to go early, so we were going to finish with con man substitute Sir Gino.
Sir Gino, yeah. Look, I was raving about him last year. I thought he was the real deal. You have to take him with a pinch of salt, but the longevity was, I think it's 2 wind-ups now, and that's worrying signs in terms of longevity of a horse, and saying, yes, look, I think this is going to be followed through the season. I wouldn't take that as a guarantee. He was very good. I think he would have won the Triumph if he had have got there. Obviously, Nicky's problem in the stable at the time, and he came out and won that Aintree. But he's not one. I don't think Nicky wants to go chasing with him. Put it that way. I definitely don't think Nicky wants to go chasing with him. And he's not a horse that you can just tap around in grade 2s with. Like, they're just not going to accept that. Like, the owners, he's a grade 1 horse, but then he has the thing of Constitution Hill in the stable. So he's a horse that you have to see do it again this season, in my opinion, just because, as I said, the wind issues and horses like that can go in the blink of an eye. We've seen many, like Allegory de Vassy looked a superstar, couldn't put one leg in front of the other the next day. So it's a tough one, and I don't know where he's going to go this season. They've already said, as you said, they're him and Han about waiting for Constitution Hill to make his debut, and then you're at Christmas time probably. Like, it's a hard one. I don't know, and I don't see him beating State Man. So I don't know what way you go with him.
Yeah, unless they do Willie Munson, just keep him like they done with Lossiemouth. Not saying he's like Lossiemouth, champion hurdle contender or whatnot, but give him the 4-year-olds that time to get up. I say that he didn't really have a 4-year-old campaign per se.
It wasn't a heavy campaign.
And then, as you said, the 2 wind-ups already. What's going on there? But I think he'd be a flop next season going forward. Right, we'll take 1 or 2, Sean, from the comments. Robert Curtis wants to know, Gaelic Warrior, flop or not?
I'm coming to the idea that he's ground dependent and trip wise, because as we've seen, he got lively ground twice last year and he was beaten. And I think he's a very versatile horse in terms of that. Like, I think he'd be Willie Super Sub. And no disrespect to him in any ways. I think he could definitely win a champion chase or a Ryanair. But I think he could be the horse that has no set target. And as the season goes on, they'll find out what they actually have for each race. Yeah. And then I think he'll go where he fits in. Yeah, like as in, like, you get, like, look what he done at Cheltenham last year on heavy ground. Like, he absolutely dotted up that day, and everyone doubted left-handed should put a hood on, and then all of a sudden he's a new horse. But I think if you had to get livelier ground, I could see possibly a Ryanair trip come into play.
Yeah, I've done a whole 180 on this horse. I've gone from not liking him one bit to thinking he's an absolute fucking dude. What he done in the Arkle was not short of unbelievable. For a horse that can win a grade 1 over 2 miles to win a grade 1 over 3 miles over hurdles, that's one hell of a horse. He won the 14 as well.
Yeah.
Over 2 mile 4. He's so adaptable. It's not even funny. As you said there, he's going to be the horse where if X doesn't go to the 2 mile, Gaelic Warrior going. If X doesn't go 3 miles, Gaelic Warrior. X doesn't go 2 mile 5, Gaelic Warrior's going there. He is a horse that anybody would give their right arm for. Tom's love child, unbelievable find years ago. Still can't get over the fact that he got beat off 129 or whatever it was. Wish he was here because it gives him nightmares. But yeah, I think he's for some reason he'd be underestimated again next season because he's just a fucking mad bastard.
Yeah, he's nuts. He's just he's nuts. He is and that's the funny thing. Like the first day, he's just gotta go out and you have no control over him. Like, Paul Townend's as a pilot on that day, and then you start to see him where he gets to Cheltenham, and you'd honestly think it was a different horse that they've saddled up because he drops the head, he sits in behind, he's jumping straight, and you're like, right, today he wants to do it.
Yeah, we were in the pub in Cork, and I looked over today and was like, see this fucker traveling away at the back. Like, what the fuck is going on here? But yeah, I think he's a massive season. Joe wants to know. Jerobam Mashan won the bumper at DRF. Is he even still alive?
Yeah, as far as I know, he is. Yeah, he got an injury. Obviously, he was very impressive at the DRF. He was picked up by JP, I want to say, after that, I think. Yeah. He will be a stayer, in my opinion. I'd say he could be a spud horse early on. It's that sort of horse, I think. He picked up very nicely and won that DRF race with plenty in hand that day, and he's exciting. DB Cooper he beat, who we lost at Leopardstown. We came in unblemished record, and he's still everything to go to war with now. So I think he would be sort of a spud horse for this year, the Alba Bartlett.
Yeah, I have no real opinion on it, to be honest. Right, last one. Rodney McKee, Dice Ardinas, flop or not?
Absolutely not. Look, we've a little insight. We have horses to follow and stuff next week, and I think there could be a couple of people that will be all over this mare because everyone was alluded to a handicap mark that she is absolutely, but I wanted a better word, fucked in, and she will absolutely be winning the handicap off that mark. So make sure all the lads save up your pennies over the next couple of weeks and have your stones when this thing rolls into a handicap.
So tune in next week where Sean puts up Dice Arenas as an open hurdler to follow. That will have his stones honour to win the Great Wood Hurdle at Cheltenham.
Yes.
And on that note, we are going to finish up. We are an hour and 52 into this. It's great to be back, to be honest. All the comments and everyone below. If you're new here, please subscribe. If you're not, please like. It always helps the channel and the algorithm stuff and all that jazz. But again, anyone who missed the start, we are no longer doing talking points on Sundays. We are doing talking points on Wednesdays along with the our weekend preview. And Cheltenham Anti-Post will be done every second week from the mid to late October. But obviously, the big racing festivals, Christmas, DRF and all that, will get the whole show and the pre-review show on their own. But yeah, Sean, we're back. First run under the belt will improve for the run.
Absolutely. Have a long summer grass. And like Willie Mullins, take a little bit of time. Second run, we'll be flying back out next week. Horses to follow. And no doubt everyone will be waiting to see those because I reckon there'll be a couple of spicy ones in there between the four of us.
There will be. On that note, we are back next Wednesday again live on YouTube for our Horses to Follow. So again, thanks everyone for tuning in. And we see you again next week for our Horses to Follow.